I didn't order a toothbrush, I ordered a micro polisher. Oh no, what a weird toothbrush. Oh well. Today we have something very exciting. I've been wanting to do this video for a bit, but it's been so freezing outside, I haven't been able to do it. It's still cold, but I think today will be good enough. What's inside here is a micro polisher. So if you like to detail cars, you have your standard polisher that you hold with your hand. Usually it's like 8 inches wide, 6 to 8 inches wide, depending on how you're using it. And you can get the whole car, but then the mirrors are very difficult, or they're like very little tiny areas that if you get your polisher in, you can burn through paint, and you don't want that. So that's where this comes into play. Ooh, very hefty, I like that. So this is a battery operated. When you work on cars at home, battery operated anything is awesome. I've switched all my tools to battery operated. Operated tools is so difficult when you work from home. Unless you have a 220 outlet, it's really hard to get a lot of air through those tools. And then you got to deal with the dryers, the air getting wet, the desiccants, all of this stuff. And it's a pain in the butt. So having corded or battery powered things is awesome. So this is the unit, and this is very small. I think this is 2 inch? No, this is 1.5 inches, I think. Let me double check. Gonna have to get out my measuring tape. So it's almost 40 millimeters, which is like 1 foot of a bald eagle in freedom units. 1.5 inches, basically. So 1.5 inches, you can get in a lot of tiny little areas with this that your larger polisher couldn't get into. The unit itself, quality feels good. I think this trigger is like speed sensitive. So it's not just on, off, it's you actually have some control in that. We'll find that out in a minute here. So the package includes the unit itself, not 1, but 2 batteries. And you just line them up. Ooh, make sure you go the right way. Okay. So where the 12 volt is, that needs to be on the back of the unit for it to fit. So because it's triangular shaped, you can put it in the wrong way and then it won't go in. So don't be a dummy and do it right. All right, let's see what we get here. Ooh. Okay, so it's like a startup and then it stays at 1 constant speed. So this does not change the speed, but you have a little variable dial here. Okay, to where you can get like full beans, or you can get really light. It doesn't want to work on 1 for some reason, so that's interesting. Works on 2, but you get the point. So battery comes out, easy like that. You got little pull tabs right there. So 2 batteries and a battery charger. Now, a lot of these electric tools, battery powered tools, I should say, only come with this and no batteries and no charger. And they charge extra for the batteries. Milwaukee, I'm talking about you, but I love you. So it's nice to have all of these in one package, so that's good. Now, what made me want to buy this is, I don't know if you could see here, the way that this moves, it oscillates and spins. So it goes back and forth like that and spins at the same time. So that's a dual action. I personally don't like dual action for polishing. I've professionally done it for years. So I like single action where it's just turning. Newbies, I would stick with this. I would stick with DA because it's really hard to screw up and burn through your paint if you do it. But me, I like the single action. And I bought this specifically because it has a single action piece that you switch out for that, and then it's just single action. So in this little box, we have a little adapter of some sort. We have a loping cam piece. I don't know if this is the one for the solid spin. We'll find that out. We got a nice little brush. That's nice and handy. We have an extra head. And this is Velcro. So that's nice to have an extra one of those. This collar piece here, which might be for the single action. I'm not positive. Now, the good stuff. All right, so we've got a blue pad, nice and squishy. I'm going to guess this might be the final step. We'll check that out in a second. A little tiny wool pad. So this actually might be the first step. Oh no, there's wool pads in every single one. Interesting. Yellow pad is more dense. So this one is either the first step or the second step. So usually the harder the pad, it's usually the first step, the actual compound cutting stage, not the actual like polishing stage. So this is probably either a step 1 or a step 2. And then it comes with a harder, less hairy wool pad, I guess. That's good. Lots of variety. And there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces for that. It's awesome. And you can wash these, so these could pretty much last you forever. Top tip. All right, and then we've got the green ones. I'm gonna guess these are either step 2 or step 1. Now, a lot of people do 3-step methods. A lot of people do 2-step methods. Depends on your paint. I have solid white paint. I just use a 2-step method. Compound, polish, simple. If you have black or harder colors to deal with, you wanna do a 3-step. So yeah, the green is rough. In fact, I might not use this for a compound. This is pretty aggressive, but it's good. So it goes green, yellow, blue for your final step. So yeah, very, very tough green foam pad, and then a very soft blue foam pad. This looks like it's for glass. I think this is glass. So if you want to throw some compound, clean up the outside of your glass, make it nice and shiny, and then put a protectant on it. That's good. Lots of extras, 10 of each. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 of these tinier little pads in there. I might not use these. These are the good ones to have. So it's nice that they include a whole bunch. And then last but not least, we have instructions and some tools. Let's look at the instructions first so I don't break nothing. Polisher. I won't bore you with all the instructions, just goes through what it is. 12 volt, speed RPM 2500 to 6000 revolutions per minute, power 80 watts, battery life minimum about 60 minutes without load, so without pressing too hard is my guess. All right, so we got operating steps. So to switch it out, there's a step-by-step process to do that. I think for today, we'll not do that just because there's a lot of parts to it. But there are step-by-step instructions to switch the heads out and to change it from DA to single action, which for our purposes today, we'll do DA. It'll work just fine. So of course they don't include compound and polish. I have some of that, so you have to get that. You can use whatever you'd like, but typical is you want the compound that has the grittier stuff in it, and you want a harder pad for that for your step 1, if you're just trying to polish or just paint correct. If you're having to remove dirt and debris and sand or scratches or whatever, you would need to sand it, and there's a separate process for that. I won't go over that today. This is strictly just for just easy paint correction. Like let's say you have a few little small scratches that you want to get rid of, and I have a few on my car, I'll show you. So we'll give this a shot and see how well it works. All right, so today I'm just gonna work with 2. The green pad I think is a little too aggressive for me, so we're gonna do yellow for the compound phase, and then the very soft blue for the polishing phase. So other things you will need, plenty of microfiber towels. I would suggest using a microfiber towel for the compound phase and a microfiber towel for the polishing phase. Now today I'm using just Meguiar's. I've used these, they're all right. I would prefer 3M. 3M is expensive though, so work with what you got. But you want a cutting compound that has little grit in it, and then you want a finishing polish. So that gets rid of the machine marks. So we'll start with the yellow pad first. And with these foam pads, typically it's good practice to put the material on the pad first, like load it up on the pad. So this is just a nice Velcro. All right, we're ready. Now we will grab our cut compound. And like, when you first do it, it's gonna be a little dry, so sometimes you have to reapply it. My thing got clogged. That's one thing I don't like about the Meguiar's. This is old stuff though, so it's been sitting there for a while. So I typically like to add a little bit extra just on the first phase, and then you'll rub it into the panel and then start going at it. So we're gonna pick a spot on the car here that has a scratch in it, and we'll see if we can get rid of it. All right, so we got what appears to be a scratch here. However, I cannot get my fingernail in it, so I think it's just on the surface of the paint. So we're gonna give that a shot. It may go in and out of focus, but I'll just put my hand there afterwards and we'll see. So what I like to do is, there's a compound there, kind of get it in. And then just kind of want to go in like a crisscross, up and down. And I think it's already gone. So the nice thing about the dual action is you can go on this all day and it's not going to really hurt anything. But right now, I'm not seeing that scratch. There is another little scratch here I'm working on. But my fingernail does indeed catch in that one, so that one is an actual scratch that won't come out. However, this one looks like it did come out. So let's go ahead and grab our microfiber towel and wipe it clean. This paint is single stage, so I have to actually spray it down with some glass cleaner to kind of help get the compound off, because it's a little more aggressive. We'll flip it to the other side, dry it. And would you look at that? It is completely clean and gone. And this is just the first step. Now remember, this is white paint, so it's much easier to polish. So you have black paint. You don't want to use this on an area like this. This is on my door, so I could get this with my big polisher, but we're just trying to test this out, see how well it works. So now that the compound is embedded in there, let's go find another spot to compound. But first, let's actually finish this off. So I'll do the next step and show you how that works. By the way, the Velcro on this is quite strong, so that's good. Now we're gonna switch it out for the blue, the nice and soft blue for the ultra finishing polish, and that'll take all of the micro scratches from what I just did and remove them. And white, all you need to do is those two steps, your compound and then your polish, simple. Load this up a little bit. Kind of get it spread, that spread on there, and that's just enough. It looks like it's a lot at first and it'll spread around, and that's just to embed into the pad. Now we apply it. I probably should have pressed it in first, but that'll be good enough. And then we'll work our way in a grid pattern, going up, and then back down, and then one more across.
Are you liking the video so far? If you're enjoying it, consider subscribing. And if you want to support the channel, I have a link below in the description.
Now the reason why I say going this way, then going this way, and then finally going this way, if you have lines going up and down when the sun casts across it, you're gonna see those lines versus going with the body lines, it's gonna be less difficult to see. Again, a spot this large, you wanna be doing with a normal polisher that's, I'll show you. This one is a lot larger, so this surface area can handle it, but obviously, for this first one, we're just testing out the device and seeing if it works. So we'll test out another spot that this will not be able to get without ruining the paint or something else in proximity. All right, so this is gonna be a trickier spot. So there used to be a sticker here and I took it off. I didn't really care for it. And it left these hard lines. So this is gonna be a bit more of a challenge. I'm gonna start with the yellow pad. It might not be aggressive enough. So if that's the case, I'll use the green pad instead. And this will be with the polish compound itself. You want to always try to avoid sanding anything. So it's always best to try and polish it out first. If it doesn't polish, then okay, you have to sand things. All right, I'm gonna get some new compound because it is a little aggressive here. I know it's gonna need it. Now look at that, already. Made it disappear. Look at that. And we just barely started. So this is awesome in this area because this is how small this is. This is 1.5 inches. Look at how tiny this area is. Like if I zoom back, look at how small this area is. So this is exactly why I got this tool, because there's a lot of very tiny areas on every car that need some love and your normal polisher can't get in there. So that's the perfect reason to get this. All right, let's give her a wipe down. Give it a dry wipe to get the compound off. Give it a quick spray with glass cleaner. Spray away is a really good glass cleaner. We're gonna wipe it off here. Wow, the line is completely gone. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but it is completely gone. I cannot see it. And that's just the first step. So the first step is the most important step. The first step you want to get right because it sets you up for all of your other steps. So let's go ahead and finish it off with the blue. I know it's hard to see, but. All right. Good wipe down, little spray. And would you look at that? Nice and clean. No more line. Completely gone. Nice and smooth. This thing works flawlessly. And not only you can do it on paint, you can do it on plastics. So any plastics that have swirls on it, you can throw this on there. I'll just do that one little spot. Million times better. Million times better. Little spots like this area or down in this area is perfect for this. You can get into so many areas you need with this small of a tool. Even stuff like mirrors, perfect for mirrors. And then, depending on your car, look at how small this pillar is. That is such a small pillar. This will literally be perfect for that. Now obviously, depends on the car that you have, but like bigger areas, you don't want to use this. Like a hood, right? You don't want to use this. But like this spot right here, right in there, perfect for this tool. So using this in combination with a bigger polisher, it's a good tool to have if you really care for your car. And this is my dream car, so I care about it. And that's why we get these. And you know, this is a car from the 90s, so there's a lot of little spots that I can get in with this because it's so small. Get down in here, I can get in here, down in there, where the bigger polisher would struggle. Door handles like this, a breeze with this tool without causing damage. If you're new, make sure you use this setting, the random orbital, because that is safe and it's not going to burn through. So here's a perfect example of something that just will not come off without an actual polish. Like I could sit here and wipe and it won't come off. However, okay, just a few quick seconds. And look at that, it's gone. Now, obviously I have lines, and that's why you want to use the bigger polisher for this area. But just trying to get the point across that this thing does what it needs to do. Look at all that gross stuff. I got to do that another day. But that took 2 seconds. Already looks a million times better. This is why I like white cars though, because white is easy to hide a lot of things. For getting in small spots, this thing is a dream. Now, you shouldn't have to use this for hours. This will be on the smaller stuff. And for your bigger polisher, it's probably best to keep it plugged in unless you want to keep charging batteries or pay for the expensive battery-powered ones. Unless you're going to do it all the time and you're doing it mobily, you can just plug it in. But this, for the micro stuff, the small stuff, it's not going to take you hours on end. Just touch up areas. This thing is awesome. And to have 2 batteries, you can have a battery charging while you're using this. So you constantly have something to do with. I think it's a bare minimum to have 2 batteries if you're doing something that does take a little bit of process and time. So I only tested the yellow and blue pads. I think the yellow is enough for smaller stuff. If you have some really aggressive scratches, definitely go for the green, then do the yellow, then do the blue for the final step. What would I rate this out of 10? The plastic on this feels a little cheap. And it's not like speed operated. Yes, you have the little dial here, but that's kind of a nitpicky thing. Honestly, I'd give this like a 9.5 out of 10. It does what it needs to do. Yeah, I haven't tested out the single action, but most people will just keep it at this setup because it's gonna be for people who haven't polished all the time. And just to kind of get your feet wet and try it out on little spots. Maybe there's one scratch on right before your door handle that drives you crazy and you wanna fix it. This will absolutely take care of it. So I'll leave a link in the description for this, and I will link some good products for polishing the compound so you can actually get yourself started. This thing's awesome. I like it. I like the heft. I like the weight of it. It's not too heavy, but it feels durable. And I like that it's got a good grip here so you can get your hand and move it around where you need it to move. I like that it comes with the extra base piece. I like that it comes with a whole bunch of extra pads. When you can wash these, and since they're Velcro, they should last forever, as long as they don't get torn up. But it's nice that they include extra, and not to mention, molded case, so you can store it away safely and nice and keep your investment nice and clean. So if you want one of these, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a link in the description as well. And we'll see you in the next video. Ow.